Good morning, friends and family. It's springtime here in my backyard in Woodland Hills, and there's been a lot of growth, a lot of new additions to the backyard, so I thought I would do a little backyard update here this morning. First off, our little blueberries are doing good. I replanted them over the winter, and they seem to like their new containers. Passion fruit is not looking very good this spring. It's getting old. Passion fruit only lasts, some people say, 4 to 6 years. Other people say that it'll last up to about 8 years or so. This is coming up on 9 years old, so a lot of the passion fruit is really small. They haven't really gotten very big, so I think it might be just the end of its life. Here's a new addition here. This is my Jamaican cherry tree that I just got. Unfortunately, it ended up getting a little cold damage as it was being shipped, so we have some leaf issues. But as you can see right there, there's new growth coming out. This is a tree that'll grow supposedly up to 10 feet in 1 year. So I'm really excited about it. The fruit on it are small little, they're like berries, and supposedly they taste like cotton candy or what's the cereal called? Like Pebble cereal, I guess is what people have been saying. I've never tasted it before, but we'll see. Over here, this is another new addition. This is my Acerola, or Barbados cherry. Got this one not too long ago, only like a couple weeks ago. It is pretty tall already, and I've taken off about 2 feet off the top of it. This is the time of year when it's starting to really take off, and I noticed that there's a whole bunch of new growth just starting. Over here, this is my Matt Snow grafted black Sapote. These two are obviously container plants, and I'm going to start putting quite a few more trees that are container capable out here on the back patio. This gets all day long sunshine and really warm in the summertime, so we'll see how that goes. Over here, I brought some of my seedlings out. They've been outside for about 3 weeks now, maybe a month, and they are loving the sunshine and the light. This is a Dasyblasta Suriname cherry that is showing some new growth. Grumachama back there, and this is I think this is the Sweetheart banana that I picked up. Chilean guava, doing very well. I'll probably end up putting that in the ground here in the next month or so. It's grown about 3 or 4 inches just being out here. Now, as you can see, there's still some of the palm fronds that are left over from getting beat up during our winds in January, but ton of new growth on all of the bananas, which is kind of nice. I love seeing the new leaves unfurl. I have one pile of bananas, one bunch of bananas that are just sitting here ripening. Once it starts warming up, they'll start ripening up a little bit faster, so hopefully we'll have some ripe bananas, and probably late summer, I would guess, somewhere around in there. Walking along the fence line, you can see that there's some bare spots here for the passion fruit. This is when the winds, the 100-mile-an-hour winds that we had in early January, literally picked up the passion fruit vines and tossed it over the fence. It's crazy. I just left it though, because it kind of opened it up so there can be some new growth. Hopefully we'll get some flowers and some fruit on there. I added, this is night blooming jasmine. I added a couple little plants here to hopefully cover this wide open concrete wall where the pool equipment is. We'll keep our fingers crossed that those do well there. Let's continue on. There's pigeon pea that I planted. This will give some nitrogen fixing. I'm going to use it as chop and drop. And also pigeon peas are supposedly really good. You can eat them when they're green and treat them kind of like edamame. And once they dry out, you can use them like dried peas, just regular old peas. Another pigeon pea here at the bottom of my mango tree. So my mango tree, I had a huge harvest last year, and all of the branches just kind of sunk down to the ground. They all bent down. And what I've wanted all along, you see this branch here at the bottom? This is a graft of a different variety called a Kensington Pride. This graft should have been the main tree, but it's not. Instead, the rootstock was left to grow even when I got it. And this was one of the first purchases that I made back in 2016, and I had no idea what was going on. So the rootstock took off, and I think it's an Atalfo mango, and they're good mangoes, but they're not nearly as good as the Kensington Pride. So what I did last fall is I dramatically cut this tree way, way, way back so that it could concentrate some of the energy on this Kensington Pride down here. And I've noticed that there are a ton of flower panicles just getting ready to take off. I've only gotten 3 Kensington Pride mangoes off of this in 9 years. And last night I counted 18 buds for new flower panicles. Pretty excited about that. The new growth is always beautiful on mangoes too. Look at that. Look how it pops out there. All right, let's see what we have over here. Another little pigeon pea. And over here is a Sumatrana X hybrid banana that got completely beat up in the January winds. But as you can see, there's a new leaf getting ready to unfurl there. So I'm pretty excited about that. Another pigeon pea in the sun. And over here, this is my cherimoya, my Dr. White cherimoya. Great start to it. And as you can see, there are a ton of flower buds just getting ready to open. Now, cherimoya has no natural pollinators here in Southern California, so what I'm gonna have to do is when the flowers open, they open as a male flower, and you have to collect the pollen off of it. And then the next day, they turn into female flowers, at which point you have to go in and pollinate those female flowers. Ideally, if you have enough flowers on the tree, you can go out and grab pollen from a male flower and put it onto a different female flower. But it's very interesting. I had no idea that flowers would change like that from a male to a female. So that's very interesting that they do this. And back behind me, this is my sweet tart mango. Just a little guy with a flower panicle. I won't allow it to set fruit, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit before I cut that flower panicle off, just so that it establishes itself before fruiting. All right here is a new addition. This is a Haas avocado. This also has a ton of flowers on it. No fruit setting quite yet, and I may allow it to have 1 or 2. This is a decent sized tree, so if it does set fruit, yeah, that'll be a good thing. And right there, that is my orange sherbet mango, also small, also with a little flower panicle on it. Same thing with the other one. If it starts to set fruit, I'll pull that fruit off because it's just too young. This is a disaster. This is my fingerling lime. I think it has some kind of citrus disease. I cut back all of the dead growth off of it in the fall, and it has not recovered. This may be one of the first true deaths that I get in my garden. You know, it happens, so we'll just have to deal with it. Over here is my Suriname cherry. This is a relatively new addition into the garden. This was planted early fall, and it has flowered, though I do not see any fruit set on it. So we'll see. Down at the bottom, I have some sugar snap peas for my lovely bride because she likes those. And these are great nitrogen fixers for the soil also. It helps bring nitrogen up out of the soil to help nourish the plant. Over here, this is my Patanga tuba. This has been in the ground for a while. It fruits regularly. I love the fruits on it. No flowers yet, but we'll give it a little bit, and I'm sure it'll fruit here in no time. And over here, this is my cherry of the Rio Grande. This is kind of interesting. So the cherry of the Rio Grande, it's been in the ground for a little while now. I noticed that there were different leaves on it. These leaves right here, just focus please, these leaves are different from those leaves. And I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. And I was getting flowers on these leaves, and it dawned on me that this is a Suriname cherry that has grown up out of the original pot where my cherry of the Rio Grande was planted. So I've got kind of 2 in 1 right here. Then I came out the other day and look at that. My cherry of the Rio Grande actually set flowers. I pollinated them, but I have no idea if they're actually going to set fruit. I would love it if they did. That's my yellow passion fruit. This is grown up from seedling. This has been struggling back here a little bit, but there is new growth on it. It has not flowered yet, but I hold out hope. Up there in the corner is my loquat tree, which came with the house. It has been ignored, and it does not set very tasty fruit. I mean, they're okay, but they're small, and they kind of give me an allergic reaction, which is weird. Other loquat does not. This is my pride and joy. This is my Java Takaba. I've been helped by some of the guys, specifically Yak Diver on Instagram. He has given me some tips to help bring this tree into how can I say, try to make this tree thrive rather than just survive. And so I've added a tremendous amount of mulch down at the bottom. I've added a soaker hose to keep it constantly moist. Not only will that increase the humidity for the tree, but also obviously give it some moist, constantly moist roots, which supposedly these like. And look what happened. It flowered. And it's got flowers everywhere. See? No, it's not focusing, but you can still see them. Look at that. And new growth popping out everywhere. Look at that new growth. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, all these trees get so beat up in our dry winds. It's just kind of horrible, but they do survive, and I'm getting it so that it can thrive. All right, coming down here, there's my compost bin thingy. Let's start up at the top here. This is my Ruby Supreme guava. All the leaves were stripped off in the winds, but they are growing back nicely. My achacha. Achachas are way too tropical for this environment. They do not like to be outside when it's less than 50 degrees. I'm probably going to pull this out of the ground and put it back into the grow tent to see if I can get it to grow. We'll see. Over here, this is my ice cream bean tree. This kind of languished in a pot for a long time. I kept it in the pot way too long. I finally planted it last I think it was last June, and it's grown about 6 inches since then. And it's actually putting on really, really nice growth. I have some sugar snap peas behind it for nitrogen fixing, even though an ice cream bean tree is a nitrogen fixer itself. Hey, let's do it up, right? So hopefully this will grow. This will be really nice if it does. My Eugenia stipitata. This is a with fruit, by the way. It's a nice little Eugenia. The fruits are super tasty, tropical, but very, very acidic. I'm hoping to make some nice juices with it, potentially a margarita. And there's the 2 little mangoes that I've already shown you. My view. All right, let's circle around and come back up to the top. Red Malaysian guava. Had some fruit set on this last year. Totally awesome fruit. Much different taste profile than regular guavas. It actually has kind of a berry taste to it, if I can say that. Really good. And if you notice down at the bottom of all these trees, I have some compost. This is Zoodoo. This is from the Los Angeles Zoo. Combination of exotic animal droppings and prunings and landscape maintenance that they put through a compost process. This stuff is amazing, and it's free. Take as much as you want, which is kind of cool. My lemon guava, I didn't do very well last year, but boy, is it popping out some new growth this year. And there is flower buds everywhere. This sets fruit from almost every bud. So yeah, I'll have a ton of lemon guavas this year. This is my longan tree. This entire thing, right from here all the way up here, that is all new growth since about February. So this is a very, very fast growing tree. I had to cut off about 2 feet of it after I planted it because I found that the nursery had staked up a limb that was causing it to fall over. It was, the limb was horrible. So I took the limb off, and the new growth is just amazing. Hey, is that on the end there? Does that look like flower buds? Oh, yes. Every morning I come out here and there is new things to see, new growth, new flower buds. It's just amazing. I love this. And down at the bottom, sugar snap peas from my lovely bride, nitrogen fixing. All right, this is the biggest tree in the garden that I planted, other than trees that came with the house. This is my white sapote, which has, this has become one of my favorite fruits. When I first tasted the fruit off of it, I didn't care for it that much because I was letting it get too ripe, but I found the perfect ripeness for it, and I really love it. I've done quite a few grafts on it. Here's a graft that still has not set yet, but most of the other grafts have set, and there are fruits everywhere on this tree. There's a pile of fruit right here with my rubber snake next to it. And here's one of the grafts that actually took. So you can see the graft union right there. Hopefully it'll focus. Hello, focus. There we go. There's the graft union. That's a common cleft graft. And look at all the new growth off of that. Isn't that cool? My tree is a Vernon white sapote, and this is a Cuccio cultivar. Here's another. This is a side veneer graft. Let's focus it. There you go, camera. And the growth is just starting on this little guy. See the growth right there? I love doing all this. It just rocks my world. Coming up here, this is my pineapple guava. I also tried some grafts on this. This graft failed because I I took the film off of it. You put a film around it, a plastic film, to keep it moist, keep it alive. I took it off too early. I thought I saw some growth and I took it off and it dried out. This one though took just fine. As you can see, new growth right there. A lot of flower buds on this. The flowers on the pineapple guava are edible, and I actually almost prefer the flower petals more than the fruit. The flower petals have a mild, sweet, amazing texture, a little cotton candy-like, so I really, really love them. Should get quite a few here in the next month or so. Probably less than that, probably a couple weeks. There's actually a couple of these trees in the neighborhood that are already starting to flower. Here's my red Atamoya with fruit still on it. I planted it with these fruits. The fruits have gotten a little bit bigger, and they're just not ripe yet. So I'll wait. I'll wait impatiently, actually. My jujube tree up here. This tree just grows. It loves the heat of my backyard, doesn't mind the cold in the winter, and it sets hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fruits. You can see the little teeny tiny flower buds in there. I'm not a fan of the jujube, but we have friends and family who love it, so I give away bags of it. Here's my Parfianca pomegranate. Put this in the ground, and it is flowering. Not a lot of flowers right now, but there's a few. I don't know if you can see that one in there. This is a rather recent introduction. This is a New Zealand, whoops, my camera, a New Zealand lemonade tree. The lemons on this are sweet. So you get no acidity, and you can eat them just like an orange. A really amazing fruit. As we circle around, there's my strawberries. This is a test to see if they'll work in these hanging baskets. So far, so good. A little graft union that I tried on my dragon fruit. I didn't do a very good job with it. It doesn't appear that it's taking. But I'll continue to monitor, and we'll try again some other day. Here's my starfruit tree. This starfruit tree got completely destroyed in the winds. One of the first things that they tell you is to shelter it from high winds. I planted it the weekend before our huge windstorms, the first week of January, and it got completely shredded with those hot, dry winds. I guess they weren't that hot, but they were dry 100-mile-an-hour winds. Happy to see all of this new growth. I don't know if it'll set fruit this year, but there's new growth everywhere, so maybe it will. Some new growth here. Oh, and down there, let me see if I can zoom in. Oops, wrong direction. I planted my Monstera deliciosa out underneath the palm tree. I want to see if this will continue to grow and give me some fruit, because I love Monstera fruit. All right, up here underneath the grape trellis, I put some shelving out here and brought all of my seedlings outside. I'll go through these quickly. Rollinia deliciosa, my miracle fruit, down here, my tomato seedlings, which are starting to flower, my avocado seedling, cherimoya seedlings behind it. Down in here, a few of my ginberry and Eugenia capitulifera seedlings. As you can see, they got a little sunburned, so I did not acclimate them as well as I should. I still have 6 or 8 of these seedlings still in the grow tent, so it was just kind of a test to see if they would handle it outside. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer before I bring the others out. Here I have all of my These are my Jaboticaba Hybrid Red X seedlings, doing well in a water bath, which was recommended to me by my buddy Yak Diver on Instagram. Another Cherimoya seedling, I believe that is a strawberry guava seedling, some more pigeon pea seedlings, and in here I have strawberry guava seedlings, I have Pitanga tuba seedlings, I think there's a couple Grumachama seedlings in here, all sorts of stuff. And this is my little attempt to increase the humidity for some of the smaller seedlings. Also a dragon fruit cutting, and my tall Namwa banana there in the corner that just did not like the cooler nights. So there is a green leaf on it that's unfurling slowly. So I'm just gonna let it sit in here and see if it'll recover. We'll see. Behind me here are all my blackberries. These are Prime Arc Freedom blackberries. They are a thornless blackberry. You can literally run your hand up and down the stalk and there are no thorns on it whatsoever. And I have a few ripening. You can see one back there. Oh, and you know what? I was scoping out, I was letting one get ripe right there, but it's gone this morning. I wonder who got that. Oh, and look up there. There's one that was chewed up right on the vine. Bastards. Yeah, hopefully I have enough that I can feed the entire neighborhood here. Yeah, the squirrels get hungry too. And there's a ripe one back. Almost ripe. Getting there. And back to the grapes. Grapes are doing well. It's the time of year for grapes. They just take off. I'm going to do something a little bit different this year. I am going to make sure and continue to prune the grapes so that as the grape bunches begin to show, I'm going to prune away the leaves above so that the sunlight filters in and actually ripens them. Last year, this entire trellis was covered with grapevines, and there were hundreds of bunches of grapes. Not a single one ripened because they were all hidden from the sunshine. All right, let's follow along. Here's my Santa Rosa plum, flowered nicely, and there's nice little fruit set on it. So I'll definitely, there's a fruit right there, a couple of them. So I'll definitely get plums this year. That's nice. Now along here, you can see the two damp patches, the strips. Along the fence, I planted Mexican sunflower a little late. I did that last Monday or Tuesday, I think. And I also planted some amaranth, which is an ancient grain that not only is it beautiful, but I'm going to use it as chop and drop to kind of create my own green manure. Because I don't have, it's hard to get into the backyard, so I don't have a lot of mulch and stuff like that. Fig cuttings growing nicely. Well, at least three out of the 4 are. This one did not make it, but that's okay. This is a pup that I took off of the big Goldfinger banana plant. It is not doing well, but we'll see. I mean, it could be transplant shock. I dug it out. It was this size already, so so we'll see. This is one that I had in an area that was not sunny enough, so it wasn't growing at all. And same with this one. This is my ice cream banana. This one was along the pool underneath the shade of the palm tree, which it rarely got direct sun. I put it up here, which gets sun for most of the day. Look at that, brand new leaf unfurling. I love that. That is one of my favorite things, is seeing these leaves come out. It's my office window. And then coming down here, got some strawberries going, and then along there I planted some California poppies for my lovely bride so that she can get some color. This is my attempt at a garden. It sucks. I didn't do anything right with it, so I've just kind of let it go. That is bok choy. I've always wanted to try it. I wonder if I have enough to buy it. It's grown in Japan, or maybe China, or maybe some farm in South Carolina. Sorry, I had to do that. It's bok choy, and I let it go to flower. Over here, this is my oak leaf papaya. These are really cool. These have a very, very super small papaya that grows on them. And once they grow up and start producing, they're very prolific. So you can get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these tiny finger-sized papayas off of one tree. And you need two of them, a male and a female, or graft a male onto a female tree in order for them to fruit. And so I've got a couple others over here. These guys aren't doing quite as well because they don't get as much sun as the other one. There's a big difference for you, so you can see how important it is to put your plants in the sun. This is my Natal plum that came with the house. It was pruned back nicely by my son into a kind of a bonsai look, which I really love. And look at that. Beautiful fruit on it. That should be ripe in probably a month or so. And some flower buds coming out. The flowers smell like plumeria. I love it. And the thing about this bush, this Natal plum, they are everywhere in Southern California. People have planted them as a beautiful landscape plant, and they give fruit all the time, and people have no idea that the fruit is edible. It tastes like a combination of a cranberry and a strawberry. Really, really, really good fruit. So that's about it, I think. I covered most everything. So we'll come back to my two favorite trees right now in the sunshine, enjoying themselves. And I want everybody to go out and enjoy themselves this Easter weekend and be good humans, all right? Take care.